the lathe depends on three important elements: an understanding of certain fundamental principles, practice, and above all, correctly shaped and properly sharpened tools. Hello, my name is Jeff Ferris. I have been demonstrating the Tormek water-cooled sharpening system all over the United States since 1993. And for my personal tools, I would use nothing else. Why? Because I've tried just about every method out there. And once you've learned to use the Tormek system, there just isn't anything else that matches it for speed, versatility, or repeatability. The Tormek development staff has worked diligently over the years to fine-tune the Tormek system to be the best possible method for any turner to maintain his tools, whether he turns every day or just once in a while. Some recent developments in the system have really pulled it together, and we're now calling the collection of equipment and techniques that we use on wood turning tools the Tormek TNT sharpening system, which stands for touch and turn. I think you'll see it's really dynamite. Whether you already have a Tormek or are considering buying one for your wood turning tools, in this video I'll show you how to create perfect cutting edges on your turning tools and how to maintain those edges with a minimum of time and effort. So I'm going to show you how to get your tools sharp and how to keep them sharp. I'll also show you some of the fundamentals about using them. And that just leaves practice, and that's up to you. All of the Tormek jigs are mounted on or held against the universal support. The universal support has two mounting positions. In the vertical mount, the grindstone is turning into the edge of the tool. Use this mount for fast stock removal on skew chisels, for scrapers with long bevel angles, and for other tools where faster cutting is an advantage. In the horizontal position, the grindstone turns away from the edge, which cuts slower and gives you more control. This is the best approach for most turning tools. You can also turn the universal support around so that it works with the leather honing wheel. One key aspect of the TNT system that you will learn today is that you do not have to remove large amounts of tool steel to obtain a new edge. I'll show you how to put a perfect cutting edge on your turning tools in just seconds. But we have to make a clear distinction between shaping a tool initially and sharpening a tool. When you buy a new tool or begin using the TNT system, your tools may have the wrong shape. Shaping the tool initially will take longer, but once the tool is properly shaped, it can be maintained in just seconds. The key to success with the TNT system is to shape your tools once and then sharpen them forever. Accurately sharpening your tools requires that you carefully align the tool to the grindstone, and there are three ways to do that. First, you can mark the bevel of the tool with a waterproof marker. Now, place the jig on the universal support and adjust the universal support in or out until it appears that the bevel is resting completely on the grindstone. Now turn the grindstone by hand and take a look. If the marker is only removed at the back of the bevel, move the universal support away from the grindstone. If the marker is only removed at the cutting edge, move the universal support closer to the grindstone. The goal is for a slight movement of the stone to remove a stripe all the way from the back of the bevel to the cutting edge. This is a great method when you begin using the TNT system, but it requires some trial and error and adjustment. The other two methods are much faster and more precise. For several years, we have promoted the use of spacer blocks that you can make for every tool you own. If you control the protrusion of the tool from the front of the jig, the distance between the universal support and the grindstone remains constant for any given edge angle. So to instantly repeat a shape that we already have, you just need a stop block to set the protrusion, and a spacer block that you capture between the universal support and the grindstone. Later, I'll show you how to make these spacer blocks customized to absolutely any tool geometry you desire. Now, the limitations of the spacer block method are that it requires you to spend a little bit of time in your workshop making the blocks. And as the grindstone wears, the bevel angle changes fractionally. You'll want to adjust your angles and make new blocks once the grindstone diameter is about 1 inch or 25 millimeters smaller than when you first made your blocks. Now, that will keep your angles within a few degrees of your original shape. For most turners, that means you'll need to reshape your tools and make new spacer blocks every 5 or 6 years. One other minor drawback to the spacer block method is that you have to make some decisions about how you want your tools ground. Now, for some of you, that is no problem at all. Either through training or experience, you know exactly what you want your tools to look like. But for many beginning and intermediate turners, choosing the proper shape for a bowl gouge, spindle gouge, or a skew chisel is confusing. For that group, we're introducing the new Tormek TTS 100 turning tool setter. Now, this nifty gadget makes it absolutely goof-proof to create the shapes recommended by world-renowned turners on bowl gouges, spindle gouges, and skew chisels. Not only is the patented TTS 100 easy to use, but since it measures from the arc of the stone instead of from a single point, it is precisely accurate regardless of changes in the stone diameter. When we start sharpening tools, we will always show the TTS 100 method first. But if you want a shape not created by the TTS 100, we will also show you how to do custom grinds with the spacer block method.